This week's reading from the Gospel of Matthew comes from the passage that we commonly call the Beatitudes. Here we have a series of sayings in which Jesus tells us what the kingdom of God looks like, and how his followers, us, can live in the kingdom of God, even here. These are statements that call the people of God away from what is commonly assumed to be good, or at least acceptable. Jesus calls people to live in his way, and that's a different way. This means an abandonment of common behavior and an adoption of a new and unique Christian way of life. The person who lives this way forfeits what is rightfully theirs, in some ways, and embraces what God gives. And God always gives good gifts. Let's take a closer look. While it's common to value things like wealth and prosperity, Jesus says, "Blessed are those who depend on God for everything. Blessed are the poor in spirit. They will inherit the kingdom of God." We can't embrace wealth as a virtue. We embrace what God gives us. We're called away from judgment and revenge that's our right when we are wronged. We're called to mercy in the kingdom of God. Blessed are the merciful. We are called away from the relentless pursuit of what is ours materially, because blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Those who cast their lot on God, those who take what God offers, who hunger and thirst for righteousness, they will be filled. While the world around us values power, the Christian church is called to meekness, because power is God's, and there is no virtue in taking what is God's. All this leads to the question that every Christian will have to wrestle with eventually. Is it worth it? And that question is why we read this particular passage on All Saints' Day. Because our second reading from the book of Revelation is the witness of the saints who have gone before us, the saints that God was faithful to. Here in Revelation, we see a vision of the saints in the presence of God. These people have obviously gone through a lot, and they have not always come out unscathed. They have, in the words of Revelation, come out of the great ordeal. They have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. But was it worth it for them? This passage in Revelation is their witness. Yes, it was worth it. Revelation says they are before the throne of God and worship him day and night within his temple, and the one who is seated on the throne will shelter them. They will hunger no more and thirst no more. The sun will not strike them, nor any scorching heat, for the Lamb at the center of the throne will be their shepherd, and he will guide them to springs of water of life. God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. Here they stand and their witness is to worship. And they say, "Blessing and honor and glory and power be to their God, who has saved them forever and ever." Yes, for them it was worth it. This is the kingdom of God. This is the kingdom of the meek and the merciful, and the poor in spirit, and those who search for righteousness. And they have inherited the kingdom of heaven. They will inherit the earth. They are comforted. They are full of good things. They have received mercy, and their reward is in heaven. Today, let's listen to the witness of all the saints who have gone before. Let's take comfort in their lives. They, like us, struggled. They, like us, have made the decision to live as followers of Christ, and they endured. Today, we celebrate God's faithfulness to them. That's what All Saints really is. And this is their witness to those of us who follow. Yes, it was worth it.